And action. Welcome to the second inaugural episode of the Supersubs podcast. And we're very happy to have you all here. We're just three dudes in the United States catering to football fans in Paris specifically. We're live every single Monday at 8 p.m. We talk football all around the world, domestic, international, club, and country. And we also are live at about 5 a.m. in Paris. So for those who are willing to check us out live, feel free to do that. But for now, we're here and we're super excited. This is January 24th, our second episode. My name is Colburn Trotter. I'm joined by Chris Wenzel and Brian Bechtel. Guys, how are you doing? Welcome.
Thank you. Doing great. Thanks for having us. I appreciate it.
Doing good. Can you imagine if we ever actually did get someone listening in Paris? I think that would be the pinnacle.
Oh, I think we will. We'll bring them on. We'll have Chris speak to them, and then we will sit back, you and I, Brian, and smile nicely.
That would be excellent. Yeah, maybe I can find someone waking up at 5 a.m. Even my friends and family, I'm not even sure they would wake up. So that maybe one day, when we get there, it will be possible.
We will get there pretty soon, I think, especially when I see your background of the French national team. It feels like we're manifesting it as soon as possible for us, which we all love here.
We got a World Cup countdown coming up here under a year.
We are. We're getting close.
Yeah, and it's also catering more and more to the US market because you'll start the first week of this World Cup would be the week of Thanksgiving, and I don't think this is a coincidence. I think it's been done on purpose.
Well, that's the first time that anyone's done anything on purpose for this World Cup planning, as far as I'm concerned. Everything else has been a total disaster. So I'm glad at least the American audience is catered to once. But we're excited. A Winter World Cup is going to be great. We have some great things on tap. We want to first start by talking about some of the things that happened this week. We're going to move into, speaking of international competition is back this week. We're super excited. There's a lot of things to talk about there. And then finally, we'll close out with the transfer window. So we've got a jam-packed show. We're super happy to have you all. So let's get right into it. Where should we start, gentlemen? Why don't we go with one of the big games of the week, Spurs, Leicester. That was a huge one. I know Brian watched it and I received 1 million text messages with the play-by-play. Crazy game.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen a comeback like that in stoppage time before. Steven Bergwijn with the 2 goals in stoppage time to steal the win for Spurs. His Italian touch. Antonio Conte is just getting it done. Not to pump your tires there, Colburn.
Yeah,
but
we love that guy.
No, you love that guy. Yeah, pretty entertaining game. I was watching as I had COVID this last week. Don't get COVID, kind of sucks. But yeah, no, it was just kind of the typical Premier League style where, unlike the other leagues, I feel like you kind of don't know what's going to happen in these games. And that was just another great example of it. Chris, did you catch that one too?
Yeah, I caught a little bit of second half. So first of all, I hope you get better, obviously. We are happy you got through this. I caught the second half because it's midweek, so it's difficult to catch everything in our very busy schedules. And when you're saying I at the moment I cannot think of a comeback, but I know this has happened before. But this was a pretty crazy one where literally on the kickoff at when they were level at 2-2. You don't even see it coming because they progress through midfield and everything's happened, and all of a sudden they get the ball. Then Kane gets the football to Bergwijn right away, and he scores a goal, and they end up winning it. Something they should have been losing. So that was a crazy game in the last few minutes. I think that's one of the things is with Conte. He's been saying there are a little bit of issues with the midfield and overall the average level of the players. And one of the things we'll talk about later is Ndombele's transferred rumored. So that's what I would say. So Colburn, is there anything you want to say on the topic?
No, you know what's interesting? My love for Conte is well documented, so I don't want to go through the love fest too much here. But for some reason, it feels different than Mourinho. When he makes comments like that, it feels like he can actually back them up. Whereas Mourinho seems to make those comments out of some chess game that only he is playing. So I'm not as big of a fan as that. But honestly, Conte is my Bible. So if he believes that the midfield is subpar, I'm glad that he's getting the most out of them. The biggest thing he cares about is people need to work. You have to work to play on his team. And we'll talk about that later for sure, as you mentioned, Chris. But I enjoy that he's getting results.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think he's right though. The midfield is an obvious hole. I thought Ndombele when he was first signed was going to be an answer, but it just hasn't worked out. I think Højbjerg works hard enough though. He's kind of a Conte style of midfielder.
We always talk about it on the show. You need a Champions League winning midfield. And I just, I don't feel like they have that. And a lot of teams are ultimately exposed by that at some point. And it doesn't feel like Tottenham is hitting the upper echelon of teams in the league as well as like internationally either, simply because they don't have that, star player. Even Harry Kane, who I actually like. I don't know if he's really he can't carry them all the way, and he's had a poor season.
Sticking with that game though, do we think that James Madison is due for a bigger move? I've
I
always
love
liked
that
his
guy.
play.
You love him more than I do.
I like him a lot. For an English player, especially, he looks incredible. I think he should get some more looks in the national team, but I don't know what his perception is in France or in other countries, but he was really good in that game again. And whenever I watch him, he's got a creative touch, and I don't know if that would be someone that would fit at Tottenham, but I think he could be due for a bigger move. What do you think, Chris?
yeah. I mean, James Madison is the kind of player that don't come quite often around. So you get the Jack Grealish of the world, obviously, and we know the Premier League tax, obviously. So that's a player that's, in my opinion, should go. I mean, I don't know the contract exactly, but like, let's say there is 2 years in contracts remaining. If there is only 1 year, that's a different story, obviously. But like, let's say it's still a decent length until the end of the contract. Let's say that's a player that goes at 50 million euros, not pounds here. But
Not
in England,
dollars either, Chris.
yeah, not dollars either. I think that's a player in England that gets sold for like 70 million euros easily. But I mean, thinking about it, I don't know if Gerard, Stevie G at Villa likes him, but he seems to be bringing a lot of players. He seems to be doing the transfer window Newcastle would have dreamt of doing, actually. I'm not even joking. Luka Digne, Coutinho back from the dead. We'll talk about this. And I heard another news today. I forgot the player, but it seems like he's doing like probably the best transfer window of all the clubs in Europe right now, reviving some players and picking up some players that have fallen in disgrace from other squads, so like Luka Digne. So yeah, this is James Madison could go to a team like this. I would think maybe West Ham when Declan Rice leaves next.
Another one of Brian's BFFs.
Yeah, Declan Rice is outstanding. He was the only player in the weekend at the Hammer side that was actually playing decently. The whole team went overhead, and he was the only one that was performing. So he's gonna leave 400 million pounds easily for Chelsea, maybe. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, you should. I think. Well, it's funny. I'm always comparing English players to the past, and it's like the first time I've seen them have a like destroyer type midfielder in front of the center halves that can also distribute the ball. I think he is a really good player, and he's so young. Definitely due to go to a bigger club, I think.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, Declan Rice is going. It's just like which one of the big four? Because people will say there is a big six. That's
how do we feel about that, Chris? Yeah. Tell us how you really feel.
I mean, there is a big three, not a big four. And even I mean, Arsenal is coming back. honestly, and I think they're my favorite for top 4, even though they did draw a 0-0, 0-0. And they've been a bit declining, as we saw Arsenal against Liverpool in League Cup midweek. So they have a declining form and struggling in the last third. So that's where the issue with the Aubameyang of the world will be a problem for them to find those goals. And overall, the team has went down a little bit to one level, I would say. And Manchester United has gone maybe half a level higher by starting to put Cristiano on the bench and starting to press and getting some player. Pogba's coming back. That main dude here, like jumping.
Yeah. You need him for the national team. You need him for the national team.
Yeah, you need Pogba national teams playing at Man United to make a big difference. But yeah, that's what I would say. So that's one thing that I would love your take, Brian, on what you think about who's gonna finish top 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say we could transition to the last week's game of the Aston Villa Man United, but I kind of like your take on the Arsenal. They seem to be a bit. I feel like I've been watching them for years, waiting for them to return to relevancy, and I think it's finally kind of happening. You saw Man U blow a 2-0 lead at Aston Villa, just kind of unacceptable.
It was the Coutinho show.
It was a Coutinho show, but when you're up 2-0 and you're supposed to be, a Champions League contending team, you just can't blow the leads like that. And so that's where Man United is just kind of, I don't know if they turned a corner or a late winner against West Ham on Saturday, but yeah, it's kind of nice to see Arsenal kind of back in the fold. Did lose to Liverpool in the League Cup, which is too bad. I think that would have been nice for some morale. It would be, they desperately kind of need to win something or at least get back in the Champions League. But no, I like that, Chris. I think Arsenal is in good shape. It'll be fun to see that North London derby whenever it comes back on the schedule.
Yeah. The Hotspurs have so many games in hand, like 3 or 4, but they also have gone down in form. It looks like Ndombele is going, even though he's not playing. Dele Alli tried a comeback, not working. Harry Winks, kind of a subtle player, and looks like it's not working with Conte. He looks a bit disbambulated in the middle of the park, and he's not really understanding the system, it sounds like. So I think he will. But
he's not very good.
Yeah. I mean, also, I think it will be a race between Spurs and the Gunners for the 4th place. Man United, even though they're getting a little bit better, it was awful game against the Hammers from both teams, and Cavani scoring a goal that honestly, from the angle that we saw on TV, seemed like offside by a mile, but apparently it's not, and it was Fergie time. So United fans are raving. That's yeah, we're for the 4th place. So I think that's that will be unfortunately the most exciting thing for the remaining of
no doubt.
the Premier League. Man City, even though Man City the last three league games have been not so great, but they've had the Champions League basically of winning against Arsenal when Arsenal were at their top of form, and against Chelsea, I believe, also when they ended up winning very closely. So and those were the toughest game they have remaining, even though this weekend they drew against Southampton, which they have issues against in the past. They've lost last year against them. But I don't think, unfortunately, there is a title race per se.
I think the top 3 are pretty much set.
Yeah.
And so it's just a question of that 4th one, which actually I know, Brian, you wanted to touch on Aston Villa United from the weekend.
I didn't touch on it enough earlier when I was talking about it.
Oh yeah, I just want to give you a little, lead time, but we can move on to the better league.
I guess I can just say
yeah, let's move on to the Serie A.
Yeah, we can move on. Well, in Serie A, I feel like teams don't blow leads like Man United do. that the league is a little, although they've been scoring a lot more goals. There's less like wild swashbuckling style of football there, and I think it's for a more refined palate. So we can take our time.
Well, for sure. Oh gosh. Well, for sure at the top of the table, though, in seriousness, it's true. Like when Juve is winning the league, they're never blowing games like that ever.
Never.
So
I
doesn't
can't
happen.
remember the
That's
last
for
time that they
They
blew
don't have
a
lead
lead.
like that. That's why.
It's only Roma that blows games like that. Actually, that was the
yeah,
last
but
time.
Roma's not good.
Yeah,
Man United
exactly.
is supposed to be good.
Yeah, Man United isn't good. Well, I mean, Cavani and Ronaldo are too old. They don't have enough quality. I think that's the end of the story for them.
In the
And also,
middle of the park on this
middle
show,
of the
we
park.
Just in the
often talk
middle.
about a Champions League winning
Yeah.
midfield, and that reminds me of Paris Saint-Germain a little bit.
Oh yes,
bit, yeah.
we can actually talk about that, Chris, quickly. So Juve Milan was a 0-0 draw, so we don't have to even talk about that. None of us miss anything. Anyone out there who was looking to watch that game, we're very sorry that you wasted 90 minutes. But sometimes that happens in football. You play the game, you play the don't pass line, and sometimes you hit that 7. And so that's what that was. But PSG had no problem scoring over the weekend.
Yeah. So at home at Parc des Princes against Stade de Reims, it's basically
This is where the French crowd comes in.
Exactly.
We lull him to sleep with the Premier League talk, and then we're like, let's hit him with the big stuff.
the big stuff, the good stuff. Stade de Reims, like a very OG, a very historical club in Ligue 1 and before was Division 1. With the Raymond Coppa of the world and the first what we call a chevauché, which is a long standing in the playoffs of the Champions League, which before was the winners Champions Cup, and lost against Real Madrid in final. So that was the first final of a French club. Since then, they've gone a little bit down, even though they have the next Mbappé with Hugo Ekitike that has Stade de Reims has received an offer of 35 million euros for Hugo Ekitike for this transfer window. And Stade de Reims was like, no, we need him to get the best place as we can. Talk to us in summer. So basically, it's what Newcastle has heard this whole transfer window, and they are getting denied even by Stade de Reims. So that's why I wanted to mention that before I get into the game. No Messi. Messi on the bench, and he came in, but it was unfortunately Brian. It's and for me as a PSG fan, it's I'll be honest, I watched the game and I didn't even see him coming, and I was watching very carefully. I didn't see him coming. I thought he was in the audience and not.
He's still back. He's still back in Argentina dancing.
Yeah, getting COVID and dancing in the club with Antonella.
Yeah, he's the instructor. He's like teaching his wife how to dance for sure. Neymar still off playing some poker, and actually, as we speak, at midnight tonight, there will be a Netflix documentary releasing on him. So check it out if you want.
Wow, we're not even sponsored, but if Netflix is listening, we'll gladly take some of the press time here.
No free ads. No free ads.
On the French newspaper L'Equipe, there is a comment section, and you only see the hero one, the top one, which has the most voted thumbs up, and the translation to that one was if it's following carefully the life of Neymar, it should be 10 minutes of Neymar playing football, 50 minutes of him being injured, and 30 minutes of him playing poker.
The internet is undefeated. The comment section is my favorite place on Instagram, is to read people's funny lines. That is great.
Yeah, this is amazing. But okay, so going back to the game, 4-0. So if you just look at the result, it looks like Paris Saint-Germain did like what Paris Saint-Germain should be doing in Ligue 1, right? There was Marco Verratti, aka the turnstile, in the middle of the park.
Yes. He's getting ready. He's getting ready for March.
Yeah, you need him. You need him this time. And
Colburn needs him.
I personally need him.
He hadn't scored in I guess 5 years in Ligue 1, and he ended up scoring 2.
5 years it's been?
I think it's 5 years from what I remember.
Oh my
He hasn't played.
goodness.
He hasn't played a full 90 minutes in 5 years either. So
I know.
Has he ever
average-
scored for? Has he ever scored for Italy?
He scored in the Euro final actually. Oh, is it Bonucci?
No. That
Oh,
was Bonucci.
Bonucci hit
Yeah.
that home. Verratti had the header
Didn't
though.
score, man. No, it's not him.
He did.
For sure.
Yeah, Verratti had the header in, but it wasn't he who finished it.
Our Italian correspondent kind of coming up flat there.
Whoa! Sorry, yeah, I had already turned away. I started celebrating by that moment, but I was so shocked to see Verratti get his head in the middle of that. We can find out. We'll check the tapes later on, and we'll find out when Verratti's last goal was for the national team.
So
5 years is crazy for PSG, but I guess
Yeah.
it does kind of make sense.
Thierry Henry is the star analyst on the French owner, which is Prime Video, another caller.
Oh, well, we're talking about the French team, so we won't have to do any of the effects for that.
Exactly. So, and he said on the first goal, he says, "I don't think he meant it." And it was hilarious because he didn't say that as sarcasm or anything. He was real. I don't think he meant it. And he said, "Those are the best ones to surprise the keeper." And so it was like a post and went in. And the second one was deflected, I think, twice. Or maybe just once, and the French league said, "Yeah, that's 2 goals for Verratti, so he probably won't be scoring until he retires." So
So he goes to the MLS.
yeah, also, and maybe
He's going to go to the Houston Dynamo.
Insigne.
Yeah, he's going to go to the Houston Dynamo or some other MLS team, I'm sure. But they won. They won. They won. I mean, you always talk about how they never break a sweat in Ligue 1. They just go about the motions.
Oh yeah, I mean, they didn't break a sweat at all this time again. Like no defense system, no pressing. The opponent Mbappe he was slightly injured, so maybe that impacted his game. He delivered an assist, but he wasn't. Usually, it's like get the ball to Mbappe, he'll deliver the game, and they played a little bit better. They played a little bit in team, and it really feels like they really don't care about league, unfortunately, and they only it's friendly to prepare the big game of the round of 16 against Real Madrid, February 15th. Now they're starting to play. That's I would say the second best game after the City in the pool round of Champions League that they've played. Granted, this is against Stade de Reims, but we haven't even they were in trouble against like the last one of Ligue 1. Ramos also played the 90th minute. Long ball, the commands, like they played better defensively because or at least the back four played better. You could tell from just the charisma and leadership of Ramos.
Brian loves him, except he's a red card machine, but Brian loves him.
He's Kipembe was the only homegrown player in Paris Saint-Germain. Even Mbappe is not a homegrown player. Is gonna be benched. And at first they thought we were gonna play the back three for having Marquinhos, Kimpembe, and Ramos, and it looks like it will be a back four only because Pochettino doesn't like a 3-4-3 or a 5-3-2. He prefers to play the 4-3-3, and that's why we're gonna play. It looks like we don't know if Neymar's gonna be there, but basically, Reims could have, with Hugo Ekitike, could have open score, and that would have been a different game. Donnarumma also got a little bit injured, which I'm a bit, and that's where it comes handy when your backup is Navas. But yeah,
I'm not really interested in talking about Italian nationals getting hurt though, so it's a little too close for home for me.
Earmuffs, Colburn.
Yeah,
you still got like a month and a half to
there's
panic. 2
plenty
months.
I'm already panicked, so the alarm bells are already ringing.
Don't worry, Burak Yilmaz is having a really bad year, so you should be fine. Though Cedric Under is on fire with Olympique de Marseille, so I would watch out for that guy.
Well, hopefully they beat Portugal. That's my hope. I'm okay playing Turkey again, but yeah, I think it's interesting. We'll see. We'll see how it's PSG. I think the biggest test for them will be that Champions League, and everything else is just icing on the cake. So they'll cruise through that league without even breaking sweat and focus on what really matters, which is Champions League.
That's right. We're now just going through the motion and waiting 3 weeks away that it goes faster to see what the truth is with Real Madrid. Karim Benzema getting injured. It looks like he's going to be back early February. So it's going to be probably in shape for that game. Even though Real Madrid has gone a little bit down with a draw 2-2 this weekend.
Oh, quick trivia
He missed a
question for
penalty, too.
Brian. Yeah, I was going to ask how many penalties has Karim Benzema missed for Real Madrid?
The trivia master. The answer is now 1.
First
That just
penalty
happened.
ever. Isn't that wild?
A little bit wild, although you got to think that Ronaldo used to take like all of them. So
That's true.
Ronaldo was like, step aside, big guy.
And
I've got
Ramos
this.
also, like
That's true, yeah.
the year they win the title, Ramos hits the penalty. So
Xabi Alonso used to take a lot too.
that's true. So quick analytics here. So as you guys, I follow Karim Benzema very quick, very.
Ooh, that's one. Oh, that's one. Boom, boom, and here we go. For those, we're gonna do a little game every time we hear Chris talk about a French national team player. He'll find a way to weave in Karim Benzema references no matter what. We happen to be talking about him now, so we can't let that one go.
Thank you. So Karim Benzema, the way he hits his penalty are not Neymar-esque. So he doesn't like do like a little tipping and then he waits for the goalkeeper to go one side and he shoots it on the other side. He doesn't do that way. He has his one side, which is the left side, and you'll see on the video if you rewatch it, all the goalkeepers, they know that he only shoots them, or mostly shoots them on that side of the keeper. So it's on the right side of the keeper, pitch level, but very close to the post. So it's like it's almost impossible to get it because it's like hit a zone that's very difficult for the keepers to get if you're precise and get the power. And this time it's like, hey, they know that I'm gonna have to change, and he changed and he tried to hit it square 90 on the opposite side, and he went just over. So if that happens, that happens once in a while, and he was injured also. So I don't know if it was before.
Oh, injured. Yeah, it's just
no problems with Kareem. No problem.
No problems here, guys.
No problem. He's totally fine. He'll be fine.
Right.
Bounce right back.
As long as he's not injured in November, like Champions League, like he gets Paris Saint-Germain. Like if he wants, to rest for at least the first leg, he can. He's okay.
Yeah, well, you know what? The good news is they're already in to the World Cup, which is not something I can say about the Italian national team, nor can I say technically about the U.S. men's national team. We have a ton of World Cup qualifiers coming up this week. And the big one is for us here in the United States is the U.S. men's national team, who have been playing very well. They're coming off a huge international break in which they took care of Mexico most notably. And there's some really, really good momentum for the national team heading into this particular set of 3 games. What do we think? We have a big set here. There's still all to play for in CONCACAF, as we say.
This is going to be one of the weirdest.
West.
Yeah, it is. This is going to be one of the weirdest international breaks I've seen. It's only like half of the world is on break. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before, but
like half the class gets excused and the other half has to stay do their homework.
Yeah. Like what are the French doing over this break? We have to play 3 games, which is kind of ludicrous with the new CONCACAF scheduling. Although I guess
3 games with travel
might have played a part in that.
CONCACAF isn't even like these nations aren't that close to each other. There are some really crazy travel schedules required of these players. I think it's nuts.
Yeah. Do we go road, home, road again? Like that's kind of insane. I can't remember if that was this round or the one before,
road,
but
home,
road, home this time. Yeah, I maybe that's just the way they have to do it with the scheduling, but I don't understand how you can't make it so these teams get to play back to back at home and then go on the road or vice versa, because CONCACAF is it's a huge continent. It's a lot bigger than Europe, really. So Yeah, I mean, those are. I mean, CONCACAF obviously doesn't have great teams, but anytime you've got to travel those great distances, we always struggle on basically any road game in CONCACAF. So, but I like where we're
at least we decided to play these games at strategically relevant places, right? So we play the first game in Columbus. That's against El Salvador, I believe. Yes, El Salvador. Then we go to Canada, to the frozen tundra. And then we come back to play Honduras in Minnesota, which is finally for the first time, although this is going to be quite a freezing series of 3 here. Having just been in the Midwest this weekend, I can tell you that was unfriendly. I would never want to play a game of football.
Where's the third game?
The third game is
Minnesota.
in Alliance Field in Minneapolis.
Is that where the Vikings play?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah. Well, but it's still, we're up in the north. Ideally, putting away,
Well, it's inside. Could be
anywhere.
Well,
yeah, I know, but it's not like how we put the Costa Rica game in New Jersey so that we could attract as many Costa Rican fans as possible. We haven't done that. We're putting this in Minnesota, and I can't say how many Honduran fans there are in Minnesota, but I can assure you, it's lower than if we put them at the Rose Bowl like we normally do.
Yeah, well, I don't know. What do we think about? The only surprise for me really is that Brooks is out, but I guess he's had a bit of a falling out.
Is it over for Brooks? Is it over for him with the national team?
I don't know. I'd like to see him come back into the fold.
Is it over for him with his club team?
What's
going on with him?
Yeah, he's in a bit of trouble, but he's obviously the best center back that we've got. So it's kind of I don't like not having him in the team. I'll just say that. It's not like we've got a just plethora of choices to just pull from. Our pool of MLS center halves is not super inspiring.
Yeah, that said, I think he was awful in this last series of games that he played. Like really, there was a perceived lack of intensity. He missed on a couple assignments on man marking that resulted in either good chances or goals. And I thought, Burkhalter obviously has had enough.
So who's going to replace him?
I don't know. Chris?
Walker Zimmerman?
I hope not. Tim Ream? I hope not.
No.
No, it's not been. That's one thing I've been really happy. I have not seen him been called for this one. Greg Berhalter seems to inspire himself from the best coach in the world as Didier Deschamps, where the group is very more important than performance.
Ding ding.
Like the Paul Ariola of the world, the Christian Roldan of the world, like all the players, like that don't necessarily. Sebastian Yejet and all that stuff is like, it's like, at the time where US was lacking depth, I could understand, but like this is like a really good generation and young generation that's playing time. Like, you don't bring Joe Scally, who's like starter for a Bundesliga team that's playing well and is like delivering assists and scoring. Okay.
Well, Dest is coming back. So they have, Reggie Cannon, Mark McKenzie, Dest, Chris Richards, Anthony Robinson, Miles Robinson, Yedlin is back, and then your boy Walker Zimmerman. So there's a kind of a revolving door of people. I think Dest plays, although Dest needs to be a wingback for the United States. He's a little too risky defensively, I have found, with the national team, in my personal opinion. And Mark McKenzie, I think, has played very well, and Yedlin holds it down on the other side. So it's really just that second center back pairing that I think. I thought Miles Robinson has played well. There's some potential across the board.
Yeah, Chris Richards and
Chris
Miles
Richards has been good for them.
Would be my pairing. Miles Robinson has been decent, but he has had struggle to get offers for Europe. So some scout might not see what we see in him, even if I would say like he's played decently. But yeah, this is So the more the midfield for me, that's an issue where like you got the starters, but then what comes in, because there will be a lot of rotation with those back-to-back games, and even if the traveling will be somewhat decent, it will not be as bad as other window, even though technically there will still be like a 5-hour flight. Total, I believe. So I think that's for me, it's the midfield. So you get Musa that's on fire, has been scoring for Valencia. You got McKennie has been on fire also for Juve, the best midfield of Juve.
Acosta, Tyler Adams.
But Tyler Adams has been actually going a little bit down. He was like probably the best last international window, but like with RB Leipzig, has been suffering. So he's playing all the games. So yeah, he needs a bit of rest, and he's not gonna get that rest. And then after, who comes in when they're gonna get subbed off?
Christian Roldan.
Oh yeah, that's gonna help when you're gonna have to play against a team that is parking not one but 5 buses in front of the goal.
We hate parking the bus on this podcast.
We do.
We're more for expansive football, but some of these teams will have to do that.
You know what the US really needs in the midfield is a super sub.
I see what you did there.
Oh yeah, love that.
No, it is funny though. Like we do at least have competent starters, which is nice in the midfield, and
which we have never had before. It used to be
goes a long way.
Wounds.
It goes a long way for us. I mean, now, even though we didn't qualify for the last World Cup, this seems inevitable that we'll qualify for this one. They probably knew that Colburn and I weren't going to be there this time, so they're like, "Hey, we'll definitely make this next go around."
Yeah, Italy was like, "Well, Colburn's not going to be there this time again, so maybe we should sit this one out just to be safe." And so I also think the other thing is Tim Weah got called up.
Did Gio Reyna, is he still hurt?
Yeah, he's still hurt. I think offensively, I feel really good about where the national team is, even depth-wise. I think they have a lot of firepower there. I agree with you, Chris. Outside of McKennie, Acosta is great, but Leggett remains to be proven. Roldan remains to be proven.
I think the biggest is great.
He is good for them. Every time I watch him play for the national team, I find that he is a really, really good player in the system that they play.
What MLS team does he play for?
Kellen Acosta. Pop quiz.
He's being sold to LAFC.
Beep boop, beep boop. LAFC. LAFC final answer.
Dude, you totally knew that, dude. You could walk.
I didn't even have to phone a friend. I didn't have to do 50-50. No lifelines were used.
Oh
yeah, LAFC.
That's great.
Yeah. I think he plays well for the national.
Did they even make the MLS playoffs? LAFC.
No, I don't think they did. They've been bad.
Oh, the MLS is hilarious with makes no sense. Some of these teams that missed it is like the only ones I've even heard of having like competent players. Like LAFC didn't make the playoffs. That's
they're
impossible.
not balanced. They overspend on big stars, and then they have nothing to show for the backup. But that actually reminds me. Speaking of which, Chris, you had a question or you had something that you wanted to get off your chest on one of the forwards for the men's national team.
Yeah, I think you're talking about our good friend Jordan Pifok, who I actually know under the name
a good friend of the program.
Yeah,
he's a friend of the pod.
He's a friend of the podcast of who I know under the name of Sibacho. I don't know why he doesn't want to be called his name, so I'll be calling him Pifok. But I was like, oh, interesting. Let me look at him. It's Wikipedia. Like, you play for Stade Rennais. Yeah, you're Jordan Sibacho. You were like playing for France under 23. And I think that's why most of USMNT fans think, oh, this guy is good. Why is he not being called? Is it just because he played for the Swiss League? Well, if he's played for the Swiss League already, that's pretty bad. Oh yeah, they play in Champions League and they beat like Manchester United and he scored against them. Well, we just talked about how Manchester United is playing well this season and the past few seasons. And the guy can't even make it in France under 23 and now plays for the Swiss League. And you think he's your savior because he scored in the Gold Cup? This makes me sad.
You know, it only comes from the American Outlaws that we hear a lot of these things, though. So that we take that with a grain of salt here on the podcast. No offense to the American Outlaws out there, but I don't know. There's
offense from me.
I
Well,
don't have any beef against them, so I don't know.
we're
them very
short.
well,
We're
so-
shorting the American Outlaws.
Well,
shorting
it's
the
funny
American
though.
Outlaws.
It's funny that Subachu, because he's like 25 or 26, I think. It's not like he's a young up and coming guy, and we have all of these young strikers that we could be pulling from instead. So I don't understand his place in the national team at all.
Yeah. and-
Cousin Greg's got it figured out though. Well, full faith.
Well, also Josh Sargent. I wanted to look. Well, he's got some a little bit more time.
Oh,
to
did you see his goal, by the way?
his brace? I only saw that he scored a brace. I didn't get a chance to watch it.
Oh, the first. I mean, it's kind of lucky, but it's a little bit of a. I'm gonna beat Chris to the punch here, but a little bit of an Olivier Giroud-esque finish on the first one.
Ooh.
Sorry, another French reference here, so you can hit.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll do it for Brian.
Hey, how come I don't get the? Yeah, give me the celebration.
Well, Brian only gets the dings for San Jose Shark references. So
Okay.
everything else.
It's 49er season right now, but yeah, totally.
Niners, Giants, Sharks, sick. Earthquakes. Chris Wondolowski will be his background next time.
I was thinking what I need to do with my background. Yeah, this Jesus look's got to go.
No, I think the people love it. I think the people need it.
I'll get a big Tifo Francesco Totti to put in the background.
No Totti, no party.
No, but I mean, back to the strikers. I think Sargent, DK, Pepe. There's a lot to pull from there. I don't.
Out of nowhere.
Hey, no DK.
Oh, he's hurt, right? I think he got hurt at West Brom.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but
so.
there's to your point. We went from trotting out 75-year-old Clint Dempsey to having a wealth of strikers in
Clint was legit.
2 years. Well,
Don't hit on our boy Deuce.
Well, dude, yeah, I guess Deuce in 2017, maybe not, but a Deuce for the rest of the career, yeah.
I actually thought Clint was a better player than Landon Donovan. Unpopular opinion.
Wow, that is unpopular. Why? Oh, why do you say that?
I thought he was a better player.
All right, very cool. That's
Landon got all the pub. He spent most of his time playing in the MLS.
This is the kind of hard-hitting analysis. This is the kind of hard-hitting analysis we deliver on this podcast.
Clint took a team to the Europa League final. Fulham made the Europa League final. Landon Donovan got like a couple cups of tea with Everton, and I mean, yeah, come on. Europa League final. Cottage.
You're forgetting the golden years at the LA Galaxy for Big LD.
Yeah, LD knows.
I believe that we will win is my response to that. So
I think that's enough men's national team.
Yeah, I think that is enough men's national team. I have to say there's some other really great games though in the rest of the other parts of the world that are playing. I have one comment on the Asian League, which is that I think it's fascinating that Iran and Saudi Arabia are in first place in their respective groups. I think that particularly given it's a Middle East based World Cup, I think that's going to be a fascinating storyline to follow from now until the World Cup. Presumably they both will qualify, but Korea and Japan are breathing down their necks. I just think they've both played very well in this qualification cycle, so it'll be interesting to see them in the World Cup.
Don't the top two in each group make it? They get 4 teams, right? Or 4.5?
With a playoff. But
so Korea and Japan will make it.
Yeah, they're but breathe it down their neck in terms of the group. But yes,
gotta watch out for the Socceroos. Where are they in the mix here?
Yeah, the Socceroos have after Brian lived in Australia, they decided to de-invest on their soccer team and just haven't been the same since.
They were decent when I lived there, and right after I left. But
I know it's crazy. They should have done more in the 2006 World Cup.
They've beaten Italy, huh? I remember.
They should have. I remember being crushed by that.
Oh, it would be even better if I remembered who hit the penalty in the 90th minute to win that game. And I just
speaking of Totti, that's okay, Colburn. That was only like the second game of soccer you'd ever watched in your life at that point.
Yeah, so. it was the third. It was number 3, and I was like, oh, this is sick. Italy's gonna win the World Cup. I love soccer.
You
did pick a nice time to get into it.
Oh yeah.
There is a big news for the CONCACAF qualifiers, VAR will be implemented for the rest of the competition halfway through.
Yes.
Oh
Classic
my
CONCACAF.
God, I swear everything we do in this continent is just so wrong. Everything.
As
We're
Brian
just late
says,
to the party in every way.
as Brian says, bad organizations make bad decisions, and nothing
Ugh.
has been more profound or more accurate than the CONCACAF debacle annually.
Yeah, that is
That's
amateur
true.
hour, but thank God. How hard was that to implement? Jesus.
Well, it just requires some investment. I understand some of the smaller countries don't have the infrastructure. Well, that's why CONCACAF exists, which is to support teams so that the playing field can be level in all parts of the league. It would be crazy. It'd be like the Houston Dynamo, not having the ability or support from MLS, that while Austin FC, the new sexy brand, gets all of the riches and spoils. I don't think so.
Well, what's the infrastructure? Like just paying another ref?
I don't. You're talking to the wrong people here. It seems
all
obvious.
computers.
The rest of the world has already figured this out, so it doesn't seem that hard.
Yeah, well, maybe not Africa. Africa's pretty messed up too.
Ooh, yeah, you want to touch on AFCON from the last week or so?
Yeah, it's in the lost abyss of being sports with Ligue 1, but
Some of us are there.
yeah, I don't know. I haven't been paying too much attention other than one of the group stage games. The ref called the game twice early in the 85th
I've never
minute,
seen
I
it.
think, and again with like 15 seconds to go, which is I don't know. That to me that just sums up Africa. It's an unfortunate like lost tournament. I think COVID messed it up. I want to say it was supposed to be last summer, but again they hosted in the winter. You got all these good players that have to leave their clubs right in the middle of the season. It's just got a bad feel about it all around again. So it'd be nice when they actually get their own time in the spotlight because there's some good African teams. I was looking at the bracket. Ivory Coast it's probably looked the best from what I've been reading. But they have a crazy path to the final that they've got to go through. I think they'd have to beat Morocco. Cameroon is hosting. Oh, they play Egypt as their next game. A little Liverpool rivalry, Salah and Mane. That should be
That
good.
will be tasty.
Good action. That might be like tomorrow. But yeah, they got that. Morocco. Assuming Cameroon goes through, Cameroon's the host, and then they could play Senegal in the final. So that's kind of a crazy gauntlet. Hopefully we see Senegal in the final.
We're all big Senegal stands here. We love them, especially on paper. Less so on the field, but we root for them all the time. I love them.
Yeah, Chris, have you caught any of the AFCON or?
Yeah, I've followed, not as closely, but yeah. So a little bit context. So apparently the ref got I forgot to say in English. Insolation, like heat.
We have a French audience, Chris, so feel free to just break out into
insolation. Il a une
Well, yeah.
insolation, too much sun, and apparently had to go to hospital afterwards. So that's why that happens. Apparently, there was a couple seasons ago in Liga, in La Liga, there was the same issue. But like today, it was even worse. Like the Comores, they didn't have the real goalkeeper because they were all infected with COVID, even though they had one that returned a negative test and they didn't let him play. And so they had to play a left back as a goalkeeper. It actually played very well as a goalkeeper.
What a disaster.
Yeah, that's I mean, when you think about it, is I think it's to take away a little bit the stereotypes about like they don't have the investment, and that's true, but it's more of like I would say like the infrastructure and in terms of processes, that's why the organization is not as good. And that's something that happens also in the world of enterprise with startups that are not very well organized. So that also happens in other parts of the world. It's just that, yeah, that's competition that have been around for a while, and now we would expect the AFCON to be organized a little bit better, even though it's difficult with COVID and all the issue that they had to do to organize with the population, that they couldn't let in stadium because of the strict rules that they implemented, while the population doesn't have the same access to vaccine as we do have the chance in the US. So there are those, and the referee also, because the lack of investment, they don't get like the proper training. and or as much training as in Europe or other part of the world gets. And so then that doesn't get the same level of professionalism that we have from some, and we have a lot of issues with European refs anyways in England. There's been some crazy, and I used to come from where, in England, something would never happen like this. They are really good referees. And granted, at the time I was saying that it was probably half true. Well, now like you get like referee, like they don't know what they're doing even in England. In France, obviously, like none of them know, but like in England, it's a total joke these days. Well, I used to hold them as like as the standard of refereeing. Sorry, I went a bit on the tangent here. Classic Chris move. Anything you guys want to add on the AFCON? My prediction, I think, is Senegal. As I said on the inaugural one, they are due to break this curse, and their win. They look very solid, like a European team. And Algeria is out. Surprisingly, they are leaving a tournament in a French fashion. The winner of the last cup gets eliminated before the knockout round. I didn't even do that on purpose.
Ding,
Well,
ding,
that's the
ding,
point,
ding.
Chris. That's the point.
That could work for Italy too. Italy did that.
Yeah, Italy makes it happen. Well, Italy doesn't even qualify, so there's nowhere to bow out early.
Even better.
Well, I was gonna say I didn't realize that ref went to the hospital after the game. So Colburn, maybe we could like cut that out of the me making fun of the ref.
Yeah.
Just cut that out. Cut that part.
Yeah. No one will see it. We're not live. So
No, it's too bad. Well, you brought up Algeria, though. Ivory Coast knocked them out too. So Ivory Coast is looking pretty good, I think. Nigeria is out, which is disappointing.
Yeah,
I think they lost to Tunisia.
Well. They were playing very well. They were like one of the favorites, not before the tournament, but after the pool rounds. And it was an upset that they got eliminated.
Yeah, Colburn, I'm surprised you're usually all over these international tournaments. Where are you at on this?
It was at a wedding.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes life calls, and you can't tune into AFCON games like you normally do. So that said, though, I will be back with the hard-hitting analysis now that we've hit the business end of the tournament. I will be watching all of the AFCON games and all of the CONMEBOL games. I love international soccer, and I'll be face deep in these international soccer games this week. So don't you worry. The hard-hitting analysis will be forthcoming as we get closer.
Awesome.
Okay, good. Can't wait.
Yeah, and I'm sure the listeners can't either. And so why don't we move on to our last topic of the night, which is the transfer window. Chris has generously voted for 2 French players to discuss on today's call. So
ding, ding.
So, but I'd love to just kick it off on the Spurs side, Chris, if you want to take it away, or actually, you can choose which one you want to talk about first.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I could have talked about Jeremy Boga, who probably was the first,
yes,
the first rumored transfer that I've heard, like on January 1st.
I'm very excited.
Got signed on the 24th. What happened on the 24th? It was the first rumored one. It was signed even before Ricardo Pepi and Daryl Dike, and he didn't get signed for 23 more days afterwards.
I think by the way, it's an interesting signing for Atalanta. I like him, and I think he's a good player. He's been a good player for Sassuolo. He's dynamic. I think that's what they need. Also, I think he works hard, which in the Atalanta ecos and their system is a must. They all work hard. They all work their nuts off. And I think that's important for the team cohesion. So I'll be curious to see how he fits in the team. He also adds a little bit more dynamic offensive flair. The last 2 0-0 draws that Atalanta have been against good competition, but I'm really hoping that they sort of pick up steam as we get towards the second part of the season.
Hey, you see, it's not an old French affair, and I don't do it on purpose. It's just like Serie A is my bread and butter. So as an Atalanta guy now, I'm dialed in. Awesome. All right, so I'll get into the French affair. So Ndombele, it looks like from several reports of very serious French journalists, is heading to Paris Saint-Germain. At the moment, they are just settling on who's paying what, how much they're paying of the salary. Is one of the top three salary earner in Tottenham after Kane and one other, or is the second one actually. And so if you don't have the context, you're like, the guy doesn't play for Tottenham that might not make it to top four. Antonio Conte was a good coach, has proven and won each time he goes to a team, win a title, does not want Ndombele even on the bench because he has attitude problems. Why would Paris Saint-Germain want Ndombele? So let me break it down for you. Tanguy Ndombele is from Paris. So he wants to go back to Paris Saint-Germain. It would be nice to have another French player, as we don't have that much French player on the squad. And apparently it's been asked by Pochettino, who actually brought him to that wanted him at the Hotspurs when he was the manager of Hotspurs. And so that's why now he wants it. And Mbappe has requested the midfield to be strengthened. And he's been vouching for Ndombele to come. So that still doesn't solve the issue of he's not playing at the Hotspurs, and he will be playing at Paris Saint-Germain as a starter for the round of 16 Champions League. But that's what it looks like, and so that's why I'm explaining why he's going to a potential Champions League contender and not playing at a Europa Conference League eliminated first.
Well, let me just tell you, Chris, if he wants to go to Paris that badly, he should go play for Paris FC.
Yeah.
That would be a better fit for him.
Nice.
I think he sucks.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with.
He doesn't
Chris's-
play.
Oh,
Yeah.
he doesn't play. He's Antonio Conte, my boy. Doesn't like him. That's all I need to hear. I don't have to hear anything more than that.
So it's attitude issues, it's work rate issues, which he had at Lyon. And usually what happens with those kind of stereotypical French player that don't work as hard. Another one is Oussem Aouar. It's like he needs to go abroad. And like when they go abroad, Bundesliga, Serie A, La Liga, Premier League, usually after like 3 months, they're like, oh my God, at training, we work so much harder, like the high intensity training, because in France we don't do high intensity training. So honestly, this is really harder. That's why I'm progressing and playing better. So one thing I'll add is Jose Mourinho. I don't know how much is that worth. Is has asked for Ndombele also, but he's also asked for so many other players to come in, and he's probably casting a wider net and just trying to see what he can.
Jose Mourinho wants to pin it on pin the tail on the donkey for any player that he can't get in the transfer window to explain his own failures as a manager. That's
probably right. So that's why I know that was not a top argument of mine, but just wanted to bring it out there. Ndombele is was also obviously pinned as the next Pogba. He's very technical, he's a bit physical, but the problem is that Paris Saint-Germain needs high intensity because it's not Verratti that will bring you that. No. It's Idriss Gueye that will bring you that, but I can see like a midfield of Idriss Gueye and Ndombele. But Ndombele, when he was at Lyon, played the game. He only played the game that were like really good games and games he wanted to play against Paris Saint-Germain. He played very well. And so that's maybe what they're thinking. They're like, that's a player that only plays well against big teams. And what does that sound like? That sounds like Paris Saint-Germain. So that's the Ndombele staff. The second one is Ousmane Dembele. This one is a very long story. So last 6 months on the contract, he's been trying to negotiate or pretending to negotiate for an extension. 40.
I love that context.
He's asking for $20 million in sign-on bonus for him and $20 million for his agents. That's not even talking about the salary that he wants. He's asking for $40 million salary as well. So that would be $80 million affair to re-sign him. And there are rumors that he's already signed a pre-contract somewhere else, and that he's just pretending and going through the motion so that it can at least play the last 6 months. And so he's been benched. And now there is almost no reason for me to watch Barcelona, honestly, because Pedri is getting better. Ansu Fati injured again. They are benching Umtiti, Clément Lenglet, rightfully so, obviously. But
those are all of Brian's highlights too. You've hit them all on the Barca squad.
So yeah, I won't be watching much of Barcelona if Dembele is not making it. So Thomas Tuchel, and not Tuchel, as the English people would say, as asked for Dembele. He was the manager that made him a great player at Dortmund, and he's thinking he could rekindle that. So if he could do the same as TVG did with Coutinho, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I have Barcelona's, but they've gotten a lot better to watch recently. They played pretty well against Madrid in the Supercopa over in Saudi Arabia, I think it was. But yeah, the saga, I kind of like where Barcelona's kind of playing a pretty hardline stance, and with that background knowledge, Chris, it sounds like they kind of know where they're at, and they're done with him. So that's kind of nice. It's nice to see Barcelona being mature and actually feel like they're in control over there with Xavi at the helm, who did just have dinner in Barcelona with Messi. So maybe they're just ready to get rid of Dembele. Messi come back in the fold. I don't know. I don't want to read too much into that, but
it's so crazy. Actually, it was Xavi, Messi, and Brian at the dinner table.
Yeah, the paparazzi were all over us, and
yeah, they're like, "Who's that guy?"
It's crazy.
Who's that guy wearing a Messi jersey to the dinner?
Maybe I could have the Messi jersey as my background.
Oh,
a lot of options.
The world is your oyster over there.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Things. Barcelona doesn't seem like they're getting played like they kind of used to be playing themselves. But it's nice to see that they're not taking any of that from Dembele. Where's the rumors, Chris, and where he would go?
It looks like Newcastle, obviously, has positioned themselves. Chelsea,
would he go there even
Manchester
if they get
United.
Relegated?
No,
Sorry.
but it's a rumored, like any kind of player.
You know how transfer soccer rumors are. It's a
until our boy Fabrizio reports on it, then
yeah,
it's fake news.
So yeah, I think the most likely it's Chelsea, because Tuchel really likes him. I don't understand it. Don't ask me why. I don't understand. But he likes that guy a lot, and he honestly could do a solid one for those guys.
Oh yeah, perfect.
For the World Cup, I'm all for it. So I mean, it's gonna be pretty packed, but with the Ziyech of the world, Havertz, Timo Werner, but intrinsically, Dembele is much stronger than those guys, and he should, if he's fit, because he hasn't been recovered his speed, and I'm a bit worried about that, because he used just to pass through defenders with speed. And it hasn't been the case. So he hasn't been like fully back, even though he's been playing for like a month and a half already. And I don't see like the players that maybe he's taking it slowly and trying to see if he can push a bit further. But it looks like he will not be pushing on the pitch, neither on the bench. So you'll have enough time to recover fully.
I don't have anything more on Dembele. Do we have any other topics, Bern?
No, unless you have some steaming hot takes that you want to bring to the table.
I can't believe we're gonna go this whole show and not talk about Italy bringing Mario Balotelli back onto the national team. Did you want to wait until like the week before the game against North Macedonia to talk about it?
I didn't want to jinx it, but Super Mario is back for the Italian national team. On one hand, one person on this show, and I'm not going to name names, but initials are BB, has been ripping on me for following the great Mario Balotelli throughout his career, well into the basically minor leagues of Italian soccer. And now back to the national team after like a million years in the wilderness exile of Turkey. He's back. And I would like to say this to the Italian fans. We have to panic, because that is not good. And despite the fact that I personally love him and I think he adds an X factor, this is a panic move, in my opinion, because there is nobody that is trustworthy on the offensively attacking side for Italy heading into this World Cup playoff duel. And that is an indictment of Immobile. That is unfortunately an effect of Federico Chiesa being out and injured. And it's also an indictment on the rest of the new generation of Italian strikers who have not made the push into the national team fold. And so it's a little nervy stuff, although I am celebrating today because I think I feel vindicated for having followed him and trusted him this whole time.
Yeah, you have followed him all over the place. Monza and all the other random stops he's had.
I follow all of his sick goals on Instagram and I send them to you.
Yeah, that's crazy. Even though you've been following him, did you know this was coming at all?
I did. He's been sort of brewing in the news because he has made
kind of like Totti used to brew in the news.
Yeah, exactly. Like, is he going to come back? Is 2 to 3 seasons of sexual tension for sure. I like The Office did with Jim and Pam. You just never knew what was going to happen. And there was some quotes in the Italian press. Mancini made a comment about him. Ballotelli made comments. It was sort of like the world started to collide, and it was like, oh, Mancini actually was the one to get the best out of Super Mario at Man City. Maybe this could work. And then it started happening, and all of a sudden, boom.
Desperate.
He's one of the guys called.
That is some desperate thinking.
I think Mancini, despite my early skepticism, has made all of the right moves, and they don't have anyone else.
No,
who else is going to play? Immobile.
Your boy,
Moise
Keane.
Yeah, I think he should play too, but I think Ballotelli should at least be considered in the mix. It's all.
I cannot believe
the way Mancini plays, it requires the striker and the wingers all to play their position. So you see with Chiesa, he adds something different than Berardi does, and you need that player to fit and gel with the rest of the team. And if that ends up being Ballotelli,
you know what you should look up? Is Ballotelli still a low work rate on FIFA like he used to be back in the day?
I'm sure he is. I can tell you, if he was a low at 23, he's not any different now.
Oh my gosh! How long ago was he with Mancini at Man City?
It feels
that
like
was a long time ago.
Yeah, I can't.
And you know what? He still produces sick goals for all the teams that he plays for, but the teams have slowly been declining in quality.
I did look up his team in Turkey's in 4th place in the Super League. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, he continues to score for them. He scores at a good rate. He scored in the French league at a good rate. He scored the only times he really didn't play well was Liverpool. And then he had a couple like he was with Brescia. And
the only times.
If you look at his scoring record for his club teams, he produces consistently when he plays.
Hey, why don't you pull that up right now? Let's go through that.
All right, let's hit it. Mario Balotelli.
Give me his Wikipedia stats.
You're asking the absolute master of the Mario Balotelli statistical repertoire here.
Yeah, go through starting at Man City.
I should start at Inter Milan. Do you want me to start at Inter Milan? All right.
Sure.
2007, 2010.
Who was his coach then?
Mourinho.
Yeah,
but this is different Mourinho, different time. So 59 appearances, 20 goals. Is that good?
Yeah, he was good then.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Chris, I'd like you to mark that down 1 for 1. Then he went to Man City. 54 appearances, 20 goals, and 1 very chill assist to Sergio Aguero. Is that good?
Yeah.
All right, 2 for 2. He goes back to AC Milan, 43 appearances, 26 goals. Is that good?
That was good. When did he leave Milan?
In 2014.
Okay.
Then we went to Liverpool.
This is when it declines.
Yeah, we went to Liverpool in 2014 to 2016. 16 appearances, 1 goal.
Okay, tough.
Yeah. Then we went to Milan back on loan, 20 appearances, 1 goal. We weren't really finding.
Hey, let's turn it around. Is that good?
All right, so we're 0 for 2 there. We're 0 for 2, but we were hot before, and now we're back because then we go to Nice in 2016. 61 appearances, 33 goals. Chris, is that good?
Yeah, that's good against
I think
Lucien Favre and Patrick Vieira.
Yes, 61 appearances, nice. 33 goals. We then move to Marseille, 15 appearances, 8 goals. Is that good?
How did he only have 15 appearances, Chris?
I think he was only a half a season.
Okay.
He just, they signed him and they're like, we need you to produce. And Mario was like, you know what? I got you, coach.
His work rate is so low. That's why he had so little appearances.
So after Marseille, we hit a bit of a rough spot here because in 2019, we went to Brescia. We only made 19 appearances, 5 goals. Then we went down to Monza, which let me tell you is deep in the archives of the Italian soccer system. 12 appearances, 5 goals. Still a good goal ratio despite not playing for them.
And was that Serie B or was that Serie C?
I actually think it's Lega Pro, which is
that would be chi.
Yeah, that's tough. But then
they weren't even in Serie B. That's unreal. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it's tough. And then finally now Adana Demispor, 19 appearances, 8 goals. Which brings us to a total, if I can find it here. I don't know if I can do the additional math here, but
it's usually on there, isn't it? Well, whatever. Bit of a mixed bag. It was a little bit better than I thought.
Yeah, of course. This is what I'm telling you. 322 club appearances.
Well, but I mean, there's
goals. That's a great ratio.
There's
128
more to
goals.
There's more to him though. Clearly, because he was bagging goals in France and getting looks at nowhere. Monza.
Well, that's because he
Brescia.
has
Brescia is where he's from.
He has some character issues.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're desperate. Roberto's desperate.
So what I should have been playing in the background here is the 2012 brace that he scored against Germany, just on replay in the background.
Maybe that'll be my background. Shirtless Ballotelli, just flexing.
That's who we need. So, so Brian, Ballotelli is going to be in the lineup. Raspadori is particularly the name that comes to mind that hasn't broken through when needed to. And there are some issues. Useless.
Yeah. A lot of issues. So I'm concerned for you. I'm going to watch that game with him, Chris. We're going to be at my bachelor party.
Yeah, like this.
And he's going to panic.
I'm panicked now. This is
I can't wait.
January 24th. I've got 2 months.
Oh, that's going to be great. North Macedonia, here we come.
And I've been starting to look at their squad, and they actually have players in Serie A all over the. Honestly, Pandef has retired, but honestly, they've leveled up.
Unfortunately fortunately for Italy, is the game has to end in a result, so they can just go 0-0 to penalties. But unfortunately, they can't score, and that's going to be a problem. In football, you have to score at some point.
Is Immobile going to be back for that? Is he playing again?
Yeah, he's still scoring, which is incredible. It's like Jekyll and Hyde. He's unbelievable in Serie A, and he gets on the national team, and it's like he forgets how to play.
Yeah, is he the leading scorer in Serie A or the second?
He was the second, I believe.
Always.
He pours in goals, and he pours in goals against Salernitana Calcio and teams like Cagliari, and he scores like 3. And it's like, oh, this guy is sick. And then he comes to the national team, and I don't see where those goals are.
Well, I can't wait to be there to watch Italy-Portugal in El Stadio de la Luz in Lisboa.
Oh, man. Well, if they get there. So,
Portugal gets there.
Yeah, it's true. Anything else, gentlemen, before we wrap up that you want to highlight for today?
No, Balotelli was it. That's really all I wanted.
Brian was really waiting in ambush. I was hoping to cruise through unannounced.
Oh, that was a layup. It had to be discussed. That's interesting. Even if you weren't so obsessed with him.
Yeah, Super Mario and I'm gonna get him tattooed on my chest if he brings Italy to the World Cup.
That would be a good look on your pale chest.
Hang on. What did you say? Just qualified, not bring them a World Cup. This is not happening. They're not getting a World Cup this time. For the Euro, I was okay with the Euro, but the World Cup, even though if you make it there and everything's a different competition, all that stuff. No. No Chiesa, no party.
He'll be back. He'll be back though.
Yeah, well,
for the World Cup.
Well, maybe it's gonna be. He had an infection on his knee, and so
I thought he tore his ACL.
Or on his yes, but he got infected from the surgery, so they had to go back and reoperate. Disaster.
Okay, he should still make it. It's in 11 months.
I'm gonna
Yes.
play. We're gonna play
10.
Donnarumma. We're gonna play Donnarumma at striker. I've decided. And just
Donnarumma at striker and bring Buffon back. All right,
Yeah.
we've solved it.
We bring Cannavaro back and Materazzi to play center back.
Perfect.
No. I don't want to hear about Materazzi. Leave
Fabio Grosso will actually pour in the goals.
Okay, yes. Fabio Grosso plays at Lyon. You can bring him.
All right, well, gentlemen, it has been great. The second episode of the Super Subs podcast will be live on YouTube for those watching, and then we'll also please follow us on Instagram as well. Gentlemen, thank you. A wonderful session here. We'll be back next week, same time, same place.
Thank you. This was fun.
Go Niners.
Later.